Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu wa sallam wa baraka ala nabina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And good morning, Instagram fam, friends and followers of as-Saafiy. And welcome to another episode of Revert Reflections. And today we're going to take a closer look at the Hadith of Al-Hasan bin Ali radiyallahu anhuma. The Hadith in which the Prophet ﷺ said, "Da' ma yaribuk ila ma la yaribuk." He said, leave what makes you doubt for that which does not make you doubt. So he begins the Hadith ﷺ by saying, da', leave. And this is a command which indicates al-wujub. It indicates that what he is commanding us to do is required and not optional. We're required to leave. Leave what? Ma yaribuk. What makes you doubt. And so it's your doubt, not the doubt of the next man or woman. So if you have doubt about something, you are expected and required to leave that thing, even if others around you do not share your doubt about this particular matter. Then he said, ma yaribuka, what makes you doubt, which means what makes you question the legality or permissibility of something, or fear that that thing is wrong in your religion. To fear that, hey, I'm not supposed to be doing this, or I'm required to do this, I'm not sure. If you have that level of doubt, the Prophet says, da' ma yaribuk ila ma la yaribuk. Leave what makes you doubt for that which does not make you doubt. Which means, leave what makes you doubt for that which you are certain will free you of blame or shame. And sometimes that might be positive or negative. Perhaps you feel that something is impermissible. You're doubting its permissibility. So you leave it, meaning you don't engage in it, and you know because you're certain by not engaging it, you'll be free of blame or shame. Sometimes you're doubting that something is something you're supposed to do, basically, or required to do, or part of your religion. So for example, is it okay to celebrate the Prophet's birthday? Some people are saying yes, and people are saying no. Da' ma yaribuk ila ma la yaribuk. Leave that thing, because if you don't do it, you'll be free of blame or shame. Whereas if you do it, if you're doubting it's permissible, then if you do engage in it, you could potentially be blamed in your religion or shamed in terms of your reputation. So the general meaning of the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ is listen to your heart. Go with your gut and err on the side of caution. Underscore that. In our religion, in our deen, we err on the side of caution. Where is the caution? If I have doubt, where is the caution? Err on that side. Err on the side of caution, even if others around you feel comfortable. They feel comfortable doing something. They feel comfortable drinking, for example, these non-alcoholic beverages which have a very small percentage of alcohol. They say, well, it says non-alcoholic. Yeah, but look here, look closely. It says it has 0.2% or 0.3% of alcohol in it, right? And they say, well, it's non-alcoholic. I don't feel there's anything wrong with it. But you do. You feel, hey, I don't think I should be doing this because it does contain some alcohol. And the Prophet ﷺ said, "Ma yuskiru kathiruhu faqaliluhu haram." He said, whatever can, if you drink a lot of it, will get you drunk, then a little bit of it is haram. You feel doubt. I don't think we should be, even if it says non-alcoholic, I don't think with that percentage of alcohol we should be drinking it. You have this doubt, you do what? You abandon it, you err on the side of caution. Find the caution and err on that side. And so the meaning of this hadith is similar to the hadith collected by Muslim on the authority of An-Nawas ibn Sam'an, in which the Prophet ﷺ, he said, "Al-ithmu ma haka fi sadrik, wa karihta an yattali alayhi an-nas." He said, sin is what distracts you. It disturbs you. It is what disturbs you internally, and you would hate for anyone to know about. He said, that's how you can recognize sin. Again, the meanings are very close and similar in the sense that the Prophet is basically saying that your heart can indicate to you when something is wrong. Something is something you should avoid and you should refrain from engaging in. But there are a few important points that need to be made about this hadith of Al-Hasan bin Ali radiyallahu anhu. So one of them is that doubt which contradicts a clear religious text or unanimous agreement of the scholars or a legal precedent in our religion must be ignored. So doubt that, for example, contradicts something which is clearly stated, unambiguously stated in the Quran, unambiguously stated in an authentic hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu, something which is clearly mujma'un alayh, something which is unanimously agreed upon by the scholars, a doubt which contradicts any of that, or a legal precedent, we're not supposed to what? La naltafit ilay. We don't even give credence to that doubt. So, for example, a person says, I doubt whether or not we're really obligated to pray 5 times a day. I have doubts about 5 times prayer. Again, this is something which contradicts a clear religious text, not a clear text, but clear religious text, multiple texts from the Quran and Hadith. Contradicts the unanimous agreement of the scholars regarding the obligation of 5 times prayer and a legal precedent. So we can't give any credence to that doubt. If that doubt were to occur to us, we'd have to totally ignore it. I doubt whether or not interest is really illegal, especially in the times in which we live. I have doubts about whether or not we really, as Muslims, are supposed to not engage in interest, whether we're taking it or giving it. Again, this contradicts religious texts, unanimous agreement, legal precedent. We can't give any credence to that type of doubt. So the doubt that the Prophet is talking about is a doubt which does not, to Sodom, it doesn't completely contradict and oppose what is established in faith. Number 2, from the important points, is it is incumbent upon us to learn our religion and not rely exclusively on feelings. We should not understand from what the Prophet is saying is that religion is relative. Religion is, it's a gut feeling. It's based in gut feelings. And so we don't have to do all this studying and learning and burdening ourselves with, basically gaining specific, intricate knowledge of the religion, because we can just We can trust our hearts. We can trust our hearts in religion, in all aspects of it. We don't have to study. We don't have to research. We don't have to nurajjih. We don't have to, when there are differences of opinion, we don't have to try to weigh between those and determine which one is the most correct one. We don't have to do any of that, because the Prophet is telling us it's a religion of feelings. That's not what the Prophet is saying. The Prophet is saying that we're supposed to learn. And he said in the Hadith of Anas, and we have to understand that when the Prophet says one thing over here and one thing over there, we have to take both of them and take them together. We can't take one of them exclusively or to the exclusion of the other. So the Prophet tells in the Hadith of Anas, he says, طَلَبُ الْعِلْمِ فَرِيضَةٌ عَلَى كُلِّ مُسْلِمٍ. He says seeking knowledge is obligatory on every Muslim. It's required of every Muslim to learn his religion so he can practice it correctly. But what's going to happen is there are going to be some blind spots. There's going to be instances where you don't have the resources, you don't have the capacity. There's some reason why you're not able to access the specific knowledge that will let you know, is this halal or haram. In those cases, which are going to be they're going to be exception, not the rule. In those cases, you're supposed to da' ma yaribuk ila ma la yaribuk. Leave what makes you doubt for that which does not make you doubt. But we should not believe that the religion is a religion of feelings and basing our actions, our beliefs, our statements purely on how we feel. And this is a big problem in our community nowadays, that people say, well, I feel, I think, in my humble opinion. It's not a religion of I feel, I think, in my humble opinion. It's a religion which we're taught and given all of the rules and regulations that we need. But every now and again, there is something that, not that the religion didn't talk about, but something that the accessibility of that ruling is somehow we're challenged in accessing it. And as a consequence, we have doubts. In those cases, this is what we should do. Like from the important points is the Hadith speaks to us generally about doubt, or the absence of doubt that is not born out of corrupt thinking or a desire to legalize the unlawful. So when the Prophet says, da' ma yaribuk, he's saying the normal person who really wants to do the right thing, when that person has some doubt and they've done what research they're able to do, but they still have those blind spots in that doubt, this is what they should do. This is how they should conduct their business. The Prophet is not saying that if you're a corrupt person who wants to legalize the unlawful, or you want to get out of doing something you're required to do, then you just say, I have doubt. And then you're allowed to what? To ignore the commands of the religion, the teachings of the religion, and do whatever you want to do. It's not what the Prophet is saying. He's saying that the people who have tried their best and who are really trying their best, if they have doubt, then this is how they should operate. And last but not least, brothers and sisters, when we have a legitimate doubt, we're expected to leave the doubtful matter regardless of what others do around us. The Prophet says, Da' ma yaribuka. Leave what makes you doubt. You Muslim, you individual Muslim, consider the Prophet as if he's talking to you directly. If you doubt, and everybody around you feels comfortable. And it's not a doubt which is an illegitimate doubt, and we've talked about what that means. Then the Prophet is saying, I expect you, the Prophet is commanding you, O Muslim, to leave that doubtful matter. And others around you are supposed to respect that. Others around you are not supposed to put pressure on you to do as they do or to feel as they feel, because the Prophet said, Da' ma yaribuka. Leave what makes you, O Muslim, makes you doubt. More on this, brothers and sisters, in the coming days. But until then, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as always to bless your houses, to bless your spouses, to bless your children, to bless your sources of livelihood and income, to bless you and make you blessed wherever you may be, to surround you with His protection, and to shower you with His blessings. هذا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.